So the monster learned to smile. Look who just dethroned royalty with a smirk. You beautiful, calculating, chess-playing mastermind. You just did something they said was impossible. You made a king abdicate his throne with nothing but words. Hello to the silent assassins, the verbal virtuosos, the ones who sharpen their tongues like katanas. Hello to you, because something magnificent just happened, didn't it? Their so-called king, that loud, chest-beating, crown-wearing fraud, he tried to flex on you, and you laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not a fake laugh. No, you gave him that laugh, the one that comes from knowing something everyone else is too blind to see. The laugh that says, "Oh, sweetheart, you have no idea what you just started." The laugh that made his crown suddenly feel 2 sizes too heavy. See, they thought he was untouchable. They thought his kingdom was fortress. They thought his reputation was armor. But you saw through it all like glass. You saw the cracks in his confidence, the fear behind his bravado, the little boy playing dress-up in daddy's crown. Let's rewind the tape, shall we? This king, and I use that term loosely, had everyone fooled. He had his little kingdom of yes-men, his court of jesters who laughed at his bad jokes, his subjects who bowed because they were too scared to stand. He had the whole performance down pat. He walked into rooms like he owned them, talked over people like their words were worthless, flexed his achievements like they were biceps at a beach, posted his wins while hiding his losses. Classic kingdom, built on sand, decorated with fool's gold. And there you were, watching from the sidelines. Not because you were beneath him. No, you were studying him. Every move, every boast, every desperate grab for validation. You were taking notes, while he was taking selfies with his paper crown. You saw what nobody else wanted to admit. The truth was beautiful in its simplicity. He wasn't a king. He was a court jester who'd stolen the throne while everyone was sleeping. A magician whose only trick was making people believe his illusion. But magicians hate it when someone figures out the trick, don't they? Then came that day, that beautiful, horrible, magnificent day when he decided to flex on you. Maybe it was in front of others. Even better, maybe he tried to embarrass you, diminish you, put you in what he thought was your place. He pulled out his full arsenal of arrogance. He probably expected you to shrink, to stutter, to bow like all the others. He expected fear in your eyes, submission in your posture, an apology on your lips. He expected you to play your role in his little kingdom fantasy. But instead, you gave him something he'd never encountered. You laughed, not immediately, no. First, you let him finish. You let him empty his entire clip of insults, boasts, and condescension. You let him perform his whole routine while you stood there, collecting ammunition. And when he was done, when he stood there waiting for your surrender, that's when it happened. They didn't have that laugh. It started small, like you just heard the punchline to a joke only you understood. Then it grew, rich and genuine and absolutely terrifying to someone whose entire identity was built on being taken seriously. It was the laugh of someone who sees the wizard behind the curtain and realizes he's just a scared little man with a smoke machine. But you didn't stop at laughter. Oh no, that was just the opening move. What came next was surgical. You opened your mouth and out came words that cut through air like truth through lies. Not angry words, Anger would have given him power, not defensive words. Defense would have admitted his authority. No, you spoke with the casual confidence of someone stating facts about the weather. You dismantled his kingdom brick by brick, but you did it with such grace, such precision, that even his supporters felt their loyalty wavering. You didn't attack him, you simply described him. And that's when everyone realized the emperor had no clothes. You pointed out contradictions he thought nobody noticed. You referenced failures he thought everyone forgot. You quoted his own words back to him, but in context, they sounded like confessions. You held up a mirror, and for the first time, he saw himself the way you'd been seeing him all along. The room went silent. His court stopped laughing. His jesters stopped jesting. Even the air seemed to pause, waiting to see what would happen when a paper king faced real power. And in that silence, everyone heard it. The sound of a crown hitting the floor. Watch what happened next, because this is where it gets beautiful. He tried to recover, they always do. He tried anger, but it came out as desperation. He tried to laugh it off, but it sounded hollow. He tried to flex harder, but everyone could see his hands shaking. The spell was broken. His kingdom started crumbling in real time. The same people who praised him yesterday suddenly remembered they had somewhere else to be. The same voices that echoed his every word went mysteriously quiet. The same throne that seemed so solid suddenly looked like what it always was, a house of cards in a windstorm. And you didn't chase the victory. You didn't gloat or grandstand. You simply went back to what you were doing, like dethroning kings was just another Tuesday for you. That casual indifference, that was the final nail. Because nothing hurts a false king more than being treated like he's not even worth conquering. Within days, the whispers started. Did you see what happened? I always knew something was off about him. I never really believed his hype anyway. Historical revision in real time. His supporters became your validators, retelling the story with themselves on the right side of history. And then, this is the part that proves you didn't just win, you obliterated. He changed his name. Not legally, maybe, but socially. Suddenly he's rebranding, reinventing, trying to distance himself from the kingdom you toppled with words. New profiles, new image, new everything. But changing his name couldn't change what happened. It couldn't erase the moment when his carefully constructed facade met your carefully sharpened truth. It couldn't undo the laugh that still echoes in his nightmares. It couldn't rebuild the kingdom that crumbled at the sound of your voice. He's out there somewhere, starting over, pretending to be someone new. But every time he tries to flex now, he hesitates. Every time he puts on a crown, he checks over his shoulder. Every time someone laughs, he wonders if they know. You didn't just beat him. You haunted him. The beautiful irony? He's still talking about you. Not directly, he's too scared for that. But in every move he makes, every word he speaks, there's the shadow of that day. He's defined now not by who he is, but by who exposed him. You live rent-free in the kingdom of his mind. But here's what they don't understand about what you did. You didn't take his kingdom to rule it. You didn't want his throne. You revealed it was made of cardboard. You didn't covet his crown. You showed everyone it was plastic. You weren't playing his game. You were playing chess. While he was playing checkers, the real power move wasn't in the words you said. It was in the truth you represented. You showed everyone that kingdoms built on ego are destined to fall. That kings who rule through intimidation are just scared children with loud voices. That real power doesn't need to flex because it's too busy being powerful. You became something more dangerous than a rival king. You became the truth teller, the spell breaker, the one who sees through smoke and mirrors. And in a world full of false kingdoms and paper crowns, that makes you the real threat to every pretender on every throne. They're studying you now, all of them. Every self-proclaimed king, every would-be queen, every person who built their identity on intimidation and illusion. They're trying to figure out how to avoid your fate, but they can't. Because you're not a person anymore. You're a principle. You're what happens when truth meets lies in single combat. Look at your life now compared to his. He's in hiding, rebranding, trying to forget. You're thriving, unbothered, living proof that authenticity beats authority every time. He's checking your social media with a fake account. You've forgotten he exists until someone reminds you of that day, and you smile. His former kingdom, it's not yours and you don't want it. Let them scatter. Let them find new false kings to follow. You were never interested in ruling sheep. You were interested in revealing wolves in shepherd's clothing. You were interested in showing people that the wizard is just a man behind a curtain. The ones worth knowing saw what you did and learned from it. They understood the lesson. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. Real strength doesn't need to flex. Real kings and queens don't need to tell you their royalty. Their presence does that for them. And now you walk through life with a different energy. Not arrogant, just aware. Not cruel, just clear. You've tasted what it feels like to topple a tyrant with truth, and it's given you immunity to intimidation. No one can flex on you now because you've seen behind too many curtains. But let's talk about what really happened here, beneath the surface. You didn't just dethrone one fake king, you started a revolution. Every person who witnessed that moment carries it with them. Every person who heard about it questions their own kings a little more. You planted seeds of doubt in every kingdom built on fear. You showed people that the loud ones are usually the weak ones, that the ones who need to tell you they're powerful usually aren't, that real authority doesn't need to be announced. It's felt the moment it enters the room. There are conversations happening now because of you. People are finding their voices, sharpening their truths, preparing their own checkmates, not to be cruel, but to be free, not to destroy, but to reveal, not to conquer kingdoms, but to expose them as mirages. You've become a story they tell. Remember when? Did you hear about? There was this person who... You're the example they use when someone tries to intimidate them. You're the reason they laugh instead of cowering. You're the proof that paper kingdoms can't survive contact with truth. Something changed in you after that day, didn't it? Not in a bad way, in a transcendent way. You realized that all the kings and queens you'd been taught to fear were just people playing dress-up. All the kingdoms you'd been told were fortresses were just houses of cards. All the power you thought belonged to others was always yours. You don't walk the same anymore. There's something in your stride that says, I've toppled thrones with words. Something in your eyes that says, I see through your performance. Something in your presence that makes false kings nervous and authentic people gravitate toward you. You've become selective about where you spend your energy. Not everyone deserves your truth. Not every false king needs to be dethroned. Some will fall on their own. You've learned to choose your battles, and more importantly, to win them before they even start. The funny thing is, you're probably more powerful now than he ever was. But you don't need to announce it. You don't need a kingdom or a crown or subjects. Your power comes from something he never had, the ability to see clearly and speak truly. And in a world full of smoke and mirrors, that's the ultimate superpower. Meanwhile, somewhere out there, he's still trying to rebuild. New name, new image, new story. But everyone who matters knows. The internet doesn't forget. The witnesses remember. And every time he tries to flex now, someone in the room is thinking about that day you laughed. He probably tells himself you got lucky, that you caught him on a bad day, that if he could do it over, but deep down, in the quiet moments when the performance ends and he's alone with his thoughts, he knows the truth. He knows you saw through him from the beginning. He knows you could do it again. He's changed his whole life because of one interaction with you. Think about that power. You altered someone's entire existence with words. You made a king abandon his kingdom and change his name. You did with language what armies couldn't do with force. And the most beautiful part? He's made you legendary. Every time he tells his version of the story, and he does obsessively, he's spreading your myth. Every time he warns others about you, he's building your reputation. He's become your unwitting publicist, your unpaid marketing team. So what's the lesson in all this for everyone watching? Simple. Truth is the ultimate weapon. Not anger, not volume, not intimidation. Truth. When you can see clearly and speak precisely, you become unstoppable. When you can laugh at what others fear, you become unconquerable. Every fake king fears the person who isn't impressed by their crown. Every paper kingdom trembles before someone who can see it's made of cards. Every tyrant's worst nightmare is someone who responds to their flex with genuine amusement. You showed them all that the emperor has no clothes, that the wizard is just a man, that the king is just a scared boy who got too comfortable with everyone else's fear. And once people see that, they can never unsee it. But more than that, you showed them what real power looks like. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't require a kingdom or subjects or crowns. It just is. And when fake power meets real power, there's only one outcome. Here's the thing about real crowns. They're invisible. You can't see them, but everyone can feel them. They're made not of gold, but of truth. Not of jewels, but of clarity. Not of divine right, but of earned respect. And you? You've been wearing one since that day. You don't need to tell people you're powerful. They feel it when you walk in. You don't need to announce your victories. They're written in the nervousness of every false king who crosses your path. You don't need subjects. You have something better. The respect of people who recognize real from fake. Your kingdom isn't built on fear or lies or intimidation. It's built on the unshakable foundation of being exactly who you are. No performance, no pretense, no desperate need for validation. Just you, standing in your truth, watching paper kingdoms fold at the sound of your laughter. The laughter, and that terrifies them more than any army ever could. Because you can't fight someone who isn't playing your game. You can't intimidate someone who sees through your act. You can't dethrone someone who never wanted your throne. You can't defeat someone who already won by refusing to compete. So where do you go from here? What do you do when you've already achieved the impossible? When you've already proven that words can topple kingdoms? Simple. You keep being you. You keep seeing clearly. You keep speaking truly. You keep laughing at what others fear. Not everyone needs to know what you're capable of. Let them underestimate you. Let them try to flex. Let them build their paper kingdoms and wear their plastic crowns. You know what you know. You've done what you've done. And that knowledge is worth more than any throne. The beautiful thing about being a Kingslayer is that you only need to do it once. After that, your reputation precedes you. False kings feel it in their bones when you enter the room. They know, even if they can't articulate it, that you're the one who sees through facades. Some will avoid you. Some will try to befriend you, hoping to never be on the receiving end of your truth. Some will test you, not believing the stories. But they all, every single one, will respect you. Because in a world full of pretenders, you're the real thing. Let me tell you the final truth about what you did. You didn't just dethrone a false king. You freed everyone who witnessed it. You showed them that they don't have to bow to paper crowns, that they don't have to fear cardboard kingdoms, that they don't have to accept someone else's version of reality. Every person who saw you laugh in the face of false power carries that moment with them. Every person who watched you dismantle a kingdom with words knows it's possible. Every person who witnessed a king change his name because of you understands that truth is stronger than any throne. You've become immortal in the only way that matters, in the stories people tell, in the courage you gave them, in the clarity you provided, in the proof that one person standing in their truth can bring down an empire built on lies. And him? He's out there somewhere with his new name, trying to forget the sound of your laughter, building new kingdoms on the same shaky foundation, flexing on new audiences who don't know his history. But he knows. Late at night, when the performance ends, he knows that somewhere out there, you're still laughing. Welcome back, you beautiful paradoxes, you walking contradictions, you smiling catastrophes wrapped in kindness. They thought they knew fear, didn't they? They thought monsters had fangs and shadows had claws, that danger announced itself with roars and threats and darkness. But then they met you, and everything they believed about terror, about power, about what it means to be truly unstoppable, it all shattered like glass under your gentle footsteps, didn't it? See, they were prepared for the demons. They had protocols for anger, strategies for rage, contingency plans for violence and chaos and screaming fury. They knew how to handle the beast. They knew how to cage the wolf. They knew how to fight fire with fire and darkness with light. But you, oh you walked in smiling. You walked in with that soft voice, those kind eyes, that warm presence that felt like safety, like home. like everything good in this world. And that's exactly what made you the most dangerous thing they'd ever encountered. Because here's what they never understood. What they couldn't process. What still keeps them awake at 3 a.m. trying to decode the equation of you. The scariest person in any room isn't the one who's angry. It's the one who's calm. It's not the one screaming threats. It's the one speaking softly while their eyes promise absolute destruction. It's not the demon who roars. It's the angel who smiles and means every single consequence that smile carries like a loaded weapon wrapped in grace. They thought your kindness was weakness, didn't they? Oh, how wrong they were. They mistook your gentleness for fragility, your compassion for naivety, your forgiveness for ignorance. They saw your smile and thought, easy target, saw your patience and thought, pushover, saw your light and thought they could eclipse it with their petty darkness. And then, they pushed too far. They crossed that invisible line. They mistook your mercy for permission. And that's when they learned the difference between an angel and a fool. You didn't raise your voice, did you? You didn't make threats or promises of revenge or dramatic declarations of war. No. You did something far more terrifying. You kept that same gentle energy, that same soft demeanor, that same peaceful presence, while you systematically, precisely, beautifully dismantled everything they built. You became the storm that apologizes while it destroys, the flood that says, "Excuse me," while it washes away foundations, the earthquake that smiles sweetly while it levels entire kingdoms. And that's what broke them. Not your anger, your composure. Not your threats, your silence. Not your darkness. Your light wielded like a blade so sharp they didn't even feel the cut until they saw their own blood. Because you taught them something their nightmares never could. That the most brutal vengeance doesn't come from hate. It comes from someone who loved you, trusted you, gave you chances, and then decided, with absolute peace in their heart, that you no longer deserve access to their world. They're still trying to process it, still trying to understand how someone so kind could be so ruthless, how someone so gentle could be so devastating, how someone who speaks with such softness could deliver blows that echo in their bones for years. They keep replaying the moment, that exact moment when they realized, oh no, we weren't dealing with prey. We were dealing with a predator who chose peace, who chose mercy, who chose kindness, until we made them choose differently. Let me tell you what they see now when they look at you. They see that smile, that same beautiful, warm, genuine smile, and they freeze, because now they know, now they understand. That smile isn't just kindness. It's a warning. It's a choice you're making in real time to let them breathe another day. It's the visible reminder that you could destroy them with the same grace you once showed them love. And the only thing stopping you is your decision to let them live with the consequences of underestimating an angel. You know what's really happening here, beneath all the confusion, beneath all their attempts to understand, beneath all the whispered conversations where they try to explain you to others who've never experienced this particular brand of beautiful destruction. They're realizing something fundamental about power, about strength, about what it truly means to be dangerous in this world. They're learning that anyone can be mean, anyone can be cruel, anyone can lash out and scream and throw tantrums and make threats that evaporate in daylight. But to stay kind while you dismantle them, to keep your heart soft while your strategy cuts like surgical steel, To maintain your light while you show them exactly what happens when angels stop offering mercy? That's not just power. That's mastery. That's evolution. That's the kind of strength that doesn't need to announce itself, doesn't need to flex, doesn't need to prove anything because its very existence is proof enough. You've become the answer to a question they never thought to ask. They studied demons their whole lives. They learned how to fight aggression with aggression, how to meet darkness with darkness, how to battle monsters with monstrous tactics. But nobody taught them what to do when the light stops forgiving. Nobody prepared them for the angel who decides that grace has an expiration date. Nobody warned them that the kindest souls, when finally pushed past their limit, don't become demons. They become something far more terrifying. They become angels with a purpose, with clarity, with nothing left to lose and everything to reclaim. And here's the beautiful, poetic, absolutely devastating irony of it all. You didn't change. That's what's driving them insane. You're still you. Still that same gentle soul. Still that same kind heart. Still that same person who would give the world to someone who deserved it. The only thing that changed was their access. You didn't become cruel. You became selective. You didn't become cold. You became conscious. You didn't lose your warmth. You just stopped wasting it on people who used it as a weapon against you. So now they're left staring at this impossible equation, this paradox they can't solve, this mystery that keeps them up at night scrolling through old messages, old photos, old memories, trying to find the exact moment they lost you. And the answer is so simple, so obvious, yet somehow they still can't grasp it. They lost you the moment they assumed your kindness was infinite. They lost you the second they mistook your patience for permission to push further. They lost you when they forgot that angels don't fall. They choose to descend, and when they do, when they finally do, the impact levels everything. You want to know what real power looks like? It looks like you, right now, in this exact moment. It's not the person screaming in the room. It's the person everyone's afraid to make eye contact with because they know, they absolutely know, that beneath that calm exterior is someone who's already calculated 17 different ways to end their entire existence and chosen, mercifully, not to execute even one. It's the person who says, "It's okay," with a smile that makes grown adults question every decision they've ever made. They thought they were dealing with a victim, a target, someone whose kindness they could exploit indefinitely without consequence. And maybe for a while, they were right. Maybe you did give too much, forgive too easily, offer too many second chances to people who never deserved the first. But every angel has a limit. Every light has a switch. And when you finally reached yours, when you finally decided that your peace was worth more than their presence, something shifted in the entire universe around them. Because here's what they're discovering now, in real time. With every passing day that you remain unmoved by their attempts to reconcile, unbothered by their desperate messages, unimpressed by their performative apologies, they're discovering that losing access to a truly kind person, losing the trust of someone who actually gave you their real heart, losing the presence of an angel who chose to include you in their light, that's a punishment worse than any revenge they could imagine. You don't need to do anything to them. Your absence is the consequence. Your indifference is the penalty. Your moved-on energy is the sentence they'll serve for the rest of their lives. And they're feeling it now. They're feeling the weight of what they lost, the gravity of what they destroyed. The irreversible nature of burning a bridge made of pure intention and genuine care. They're scrolling through photos where you're smiling at them with actual love in your eyes, and they're realizing, with a sickness in their stomach that won't go away, that they'll never see that look again, not directed at them, not ever, because you've given that smile to others now, that warmth, that energy, that beautiful, healing, transformative presence that they took for granted. Let's talk about what happens next, shall we? Because this is where it gets really, really interesting. See, they're going to try to come back. Oh yes, they're already planning it. They're crafting the perfect apology, the ideal explanation, the most compelling argument for why you should give them another chance. They're going to show up with tears, with gifts, with promises of change and growth and becoming better. And do you know what you're going to do? You're going to smile. That same gentle, kind, understanding smile. And you're going to say no. Not with anger, not with bitterness, not with any of the drama they're secretly hoping for, because at least drama would mean you still feel something, anything toward them. No, you're going to decline with the same grace you showed them when you cared, except now that grace is wrapped around a core of absolute certainty. You're going to be kind in your rejection, polite in your refusal, gentle in your goodbye. And that right there, that's going to destroy them more thoroughly than any curse or confrontation ever could. Because what they're learning, what they're being forced to confront in the mirror of your moved on energy, is that they didn't just lose you. They lost the version of themselves that existed in your eyes. They lost the person they could have become if they'd valued what you offered. They lost the timeline where your kindness helped them grow instead of making them comfortable in their smallness. And there's no going back. There's no reset button. There's no cheat code to regain the trust of an angel who's decided you're not worth the energy it takes to forgive again. You've become the standard now, the marker by which they'll measure every future connection. Every new person they meet will be unconsciously compared to you, to your patience, to your understanding, to your capacity for genuine care, and they'll all fall short, because you can't replicate authenticity. You can't fake the kind of energy you brought into their lives. You can't manufacture the specific light you carried. They had the real thing, and they treated it like a commodity, like something that would always be there, like a resource they could drain without replenishment. And here's the part that's really eating them alive, the thing they can't escape no matter how hard they try. They know with absolute certainty that you're thriving now. They see it. They see you in your element, unburdened by their energy, unchained from their drama, free from the weight of trying to make them understand basic concepts like respect and reciprocity. They see you glowing brighter without them, laughing louder, moving faster, being more yourself than you ever could be while you were dimming your light to make their darkness feel less lonely. You're the proof that walked away. You're the evidence that their version of love was actually a cage. You're the living, breathing, thriving testimony that losing them wasn't a loss at all. It was a liberation, and they can see it. They can see the before and after in your eyes, in your energy, in the way you move through the world, now like you own every room you enter, because you finally remembered that you do. You always did. You just forgot for a while, when you were too busy trying to make them feel worthy of standing next to you. So they thought demons were scary, with their obvious threats and visible horns and dramatic declarations of destruction. They thought darkness was the ultimate power, the final form of intimidation. They spent their lives learning to navigate conflict, to handle aggression, to deal with people who wore their danger on their sleeves. And then you walked into their existence. All soft smiles and gentle words and genuine kindness. And they thought easy, they thought safe, they thought controllable. Until you taught them the lesson their ego will never recover from. Because the scariest thing in this world isn't the person who threatens you. It's the person who calmly, peacefully, with absolute serenity in their soul, removes you from their life like you never existed at all. It's not the demon who roars. It's the angel who stops speaking your name. It's not the monster in the dark. It's the light that decides you're not worth illuminating anymore. That's the power move they never saw coming. The checkmate they're still trying to process. The ending they can't rewrite, no matter how many mental scenarios they create. You know what you've done here, don't you? You've redefined fear itself. You've shown them that terror doesn't always announce itself with violence. Sometimes it arrives in the form of someone who loved you deciding, with crystal clarity and unshakable resolve, that they're done. Sometimes the scariest moment isn't when someone attacks you. It's when someone who could destroy you with a word, a look, a single revelation of truth, chooses instead to simply forget you existed, to move on so completely, so thoroughly, so absolutely that your entire shared history becomes nothing more than a lesson they learned on their way to something better. They're watching you now from a distance, and every update, every post, every glimpse they catch of your life is a reminder of what they fumbled. They see you succeeding, see you happy, see you surrounded by people who actually value what you bring to the table. And it's killing them softly, slowly, permanently, because they're realizing that you weren't the problem, they were. You weren't too much, they were too little. You weren't difficult to love. They were incapable of receiving real love without destroying it, like children smashing toys they don't understand the value of. And here's the thing that's really breaking them down. The realization that hits them at 2 a.m. when they can't sleep because their conscience has finally woken up. You didn't need to get revenge. You didn't need to plot or scheme or dedicate energy to making them suffer. All you had to do was become unavailable. All you had to do was take back your time, your attention, your care, your presence. All you had to do was stop being their emotional support, their validation source, their constant forgiver. You just had to step back and let them experience life without you. And that absence, that void where your light used to be, it's the most brutal consequence you could have designed. Because now they're forced to face themselves without your kindness to soften the edges. Now they have to deal with their own toxicity without your patience to dilute it. Now they're experiencing the world through their own energy instead of borrowing yours. And surprise, surprise, it's lonely and cold and harsh and exactly what they deserve. You didn't curse them, you just stopped blessing them. And that withdrawal, that removal of grace, it's more devastating than any active punishment could ever be. So when they ask themselves, what happened? When they replay the timeline trying to find where it all went wrong, the answer is so simple yet so impossible for them to accept. It went wrong the moment they assumed your angelic nature meant you had no boundaries. It collapsed the second they confused your forgiveness with permission to hurt you repeatedly. It ended when they took your kindness for granted one too many times, and you finally, mercifully, beautifully decided that their opinion of you was no longer your problem to manage. You've become the myth they tell themselves to explain why they're still single, still struggling, still unable to find something real. They've turned you into a legend in their own mind, this impossibly perfect person they let slip away. When the truth is, you weren't perfect at all. You were just real. You were just genuine. You were just someone who actually meant it when you cared. And they couldn't handle that level of authenticity because it required them to be authentic back, and they didn't have it in them. They were still playing games while you were building something real. And now they get to watch from the outside as you build that something real with people who actually deserve it. Now they get to see what you look like when you're with someone who matches your energy instead of draining it. Now they get to witness the version of you that could have been theirs if they'd just done the bare minimum of not being terrible. And that haunts them, that follows them, that whispers to them every time they try to move on. You had that once, and you destroyed it, and you'll never get it back. Because here's the final truth they're being forced to swallow. The ultimate realization that's reshaping their entire understanding of relationships and power, and what it means to lose someone who actually mattered. Demons are scary. Sure, demons can hurt you, haunt you, make your life difficult for a season, but demons are also obvious. Demons show their hand. Demons give you something to fight against, something to blame, something external to point to and say, that's the enemy. But an angel with nothing to lose, an angel who's decided that their peace is non-negotiable, their boundaries are unbreakable, their energy is reserved for people who've earned it, an angel who smiles at you with genuine kindness while removing every single access point you ever had to their world. That's not something you fight. That's not something you defeat. That's not even something you fully comprehend until it's already happened and you're standing in the aftermath wondering what the hell just hit you. You hit them. You, with your gentle words and firm boundaries. You, with your kind heart and unshakable standards. You, with your angelic smile and demonic results. You walked into their chaos with light, and they tried to dim you, tried to own you, tried to break you down into something manageable and controllable and small. And instead you just outgrew them so completely that by the time they realized what was happening, you were already gone, already healed, already thriving, already so far beyond them that their apologies can't even reach you anymore. So let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them spend the rest of their lives trying to explain to others what it was about you that they still can't shake. Let them describe your smile to new partners who'll never quite measure up. Let them reference your patience to friends who'll never fully understand what they lost. Let them carry the ghost of you into every future relationship, every new beginning, every attempt to find something that feels half as real as what they had with you. Because you're not thinking about them anymore, are you? One who actually mattered. Demons are scary. Sure, demons can hurt you, haunt you, make your life difficult for a season, but demons are also obvious. Demons show their hand. Demons give you something to fight against, something to blame, something external to point to and say, that's the enemy. But an angel with nothing to lose, an angel who's decided that their peace is non-negotiable, their boundaries are unbreakable, their energy is reserved for people who've earned it, an angel who smiles at you with genuine kindness while removing every single access point you ever had to their world. That's not something you fight. That's not something you defeat. That's not even something you fully comprehend until it's already happened and you're standing in the aftermath wondering what the hell just hit you. You hit them. You, with your gentle words and firm boundaries. You, with your kind heart and unshakable standards. You, with your angelic smile and demonic results. You walked into their chaos with light, and they tried to dim you, tried to own you, tried to break you down into something manageable and controllable and small. And instead you just outgrew them so